I've been on the hunt for a while now for a Power Mac G5, to the point where I actually now ended up with two. So we're going to look at one of them today. So yes, this is the more powerful of the two that I ended up with. This is actually kind of the end of the run as far as Power Macs go. This is the single dual core G5 iMac, which was kind of the last release. There was a quad core version as well, which was two separate CPUs, both dual core. But that one was water cooled. And as far as I can tell, getting hold of one of those that still works is very, very hard, because that water cooling tended to fail and tended to pour corrosive stuff everywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, this is probably the most powerful Power Mac I'm ever going to get. And coincidentally, the other one that I ended up finding is actually the first one that was released as the lowest end 1.6 gigahertz single core version. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one yet, but I do want to have a look at this one. I do want to see what we can do with this, because this version comes with PCI slots, or PCIe slots, I should say. It has a dual core processor, a half decent graphics card. I think it can go up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Not sure what's currently in there. We're going to find out. So yeah, I think it'll be really cool to have this set up as kind of the best version of macOS 10.5 install that I can get. Probably play some original Halo, but then also more importantly, I'd like to get Linux installed on this and actually see what it's like to use it in 2026 as an actual computer. So that's the plan. Today we're just going to take a look and we're going to see how far we can get. I'm sure this is going to end up being a multi-video saga, but yes, I wanted to crack this thing open and give it a bit of a clean, because unfortunately, while the case seems in pretty good condition, it smells like at some point some owner smoked, but they weren't smoking tobacco, that's for sure. So we're going to try and give it a bit of a clean up and see if we can get rid of some of that odor. And then, yes, turn it on and see what we've got to work with. All right, let's get into it. Me from the future, I'm just going to hop in here because, as you can probably tell from the thumbnail, title of the video, I kind of actually do know what I'm doing with this machine in the end. And this kind of very quickly evolved during the process of cleaning this out, getting operating systems and stuff installed, figuring out what is and isn't possible. So this video did kind of take quite a sharp 90-degree pivot, if you like, away from kind of just being a general getting Linux installed and becoming something a little bit more specific. So if you're not really interested in kind of looking at the machine itself, going through the process of installing different operating systems, definitely use the timestamps down below to get to the Minecraft bit of this video. But yeah, we will get there. So back to past me. Okay, well, first things first, I have to say that this thing is absolutely massive and incredibly heavy as well. In fact, just checking the Wikipedia page here, yeah, apparently it weighs between 20 and 22 kilos. This thing is a beast. This thing is very, very heavy. But anyway, let's get into it and let's see what we're working with. So it has this very cool thing that pulls off the side here, and there we go. It doesn't actually look too bad inside, it just smells. So let's get rid of the side here. And I think if we have a look down the bottom here, I don't know if I can get in there enough. But yeah, as you can see, we have the dual core 2.3 gigahertz. Apparently with 512 megabytes of RAM. I think that's what that says. Again, checking Wikipedia. Yes, it does look like that's what it originally came with. I don't know if that's what's in there at the moment. We'll see. A 250 gigabyte hard drive, although that is very much missing, which is a good thing. Well done for not including your personal data. And then it has the NVIDIA GeForce 6600 GPU. So yeah, let's see if I can pop you down so we can actually see at least somewhat inside here. First things first, I mean, this thing is massive, and this thing is massive for one reason and one reason only: cooling that incredibly hot G5 processor. Yeah, they never fix that. There's a reason why these processors only ever came out in this massive case, and in the iMac they just couldn't get the heat working. So this has a very complicated multi-area cooling system. There's multiple fans, all sorts of things going on, and you have this plastic bit as well that kind of keeps it somewhat airtight so the airflow is going in the right direction. it's all a lot. It's all very convoluted, but that was, I guess, necessary. So let's get a screwdriver and let's have a look at this graphics card, and we'll see about taking the rest out as well. So I will say that I have powered this on just to check that it's working, and everything seems to be working fine, as I would expect. And yeah, it's actually not that dirty. It's in a pretty good condition. It just smells. So hopefully just having the side open for a bit will do it some good. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. So this is our fanless GPU with a decent sized heatsink. It's looking a bit dirty, but nothing too bad. So yeah, we'll give that a quick clean up, but nothing to really worry about there. And then, as you can see, we have additional PCI slots in here as well. So we have a by 4 slot, a by 8 slot, a by 4 slot, and then a by 16 slot. We have 2 spaces for disk drives. We have a nice little SATA drive that we're just going to stick in. And then we have our CD drive, which you can't actually see. That's not in shot because this thing is so massive. Anyway, this should come off of here. Interesting. But there's the iconic G5 front plate. And then this whole unit also just comes out. And these are the dual fans that are cooling this monster. And that actually has a plug that plugs straight into the back there, which is a kind of cool design. I like that. And then we have just a shroud that directs the airflow through this absolutely massive heatsink. And yeah, this is cooling one CPU. So you can see why they actually needed a water cooling system for the two CPU setup, because if you have a look in there, you can see the unpopulated area on the board here where that second CPU would go. And you can see the heatsink actually goes most of the way over that anyway. So that was never going to be an air-cooled solution, that's for sure. And then you've got another 2 fans at the back here. So you really got fans on both sides pulling air through, which is interesting. And then we have a massive amount of RAM. There is 2 4 DIMM kind of setups here. So let's get this all out and see what we're working with. So we have got 512 megabytes. So let's see if they're all the same. So yeah, that is 8 identical 512 megabyte RAM sticks. So we have 4 gigabytes of RAM. So someone definitely upgraded this at some point, which is pretty cool to have. So yeah, let's give this a little bit of a clean up, give it a quick blowout, see if we can get rid of some of that smell. And then we'll put it back together, and I will start with a macOS install and see where we go from there, just to make sure mainly that everything is working. And then I do want to quite quickly move on to Linux. That's the more interesting part, I think. Okay, so that is everything put back in, cleaned out as much as I could, smell less so, SSD installed, got the plastic back on as you can see me in it, and then we have my trusty Dell monitor here to test this thing out. Also, interesting enough, with this one, I picked this one up locally actually, and it was a complete gamble because all it was the picture of the outside the computer, and it just said Apple computer. So it was a bit of a gamble to find out what was actually in here. So I was very happy that this was essentially the last G5 that ever was made in terms of the model. But it also came with this old Apple keyboard with the teal, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that. And the Apple mouse as well. So I've got some peripherals that are kind of suitable for the time frame. They're not quite right, I don't think, in terms of what would have come with it. But the keyboard's in pretty good condition. Could use a bit of more of a clean, but yeah, all good. So we're going to fire this up and we're going to see if it turns on, if I've broken everything, and then try and get OS X installed. And we have video out. Obviously, it's not found an operating system. There's nothing on that SSD, but this is great news. Also, not sure if we can show that, but there you go. Yep, fans are all spinning happily. So yeah, all right, let's get my copy of OS X and see what we can do. So yeah, once everything was set up in terms of getting the machine cleaned out and checked over, OS 10, specifically OS 10.5.8, installed without a problem at all. The disk drive seems to be working perfectly. That all booted up fine. And yes, did confirm that we have 4 gig of RAM at the moment, and that dual core 2.3 gigahertz PowerPC is all working as it should, along with the graphics card as well. Did check out Halo for a moment. I will say again that if you ever want to play Halo 1, the best way to play it is on an era appropriate Mac, because you may not realize this, but Halo was originally a Mac game. So there you go. Go check that out. But once I knew that everything was working fine under macOS, I went straight into Linux. And thankfully, unlike my G4 iMac, I could actually use the GUI installer here to get Adélie Linux installed, set up with no problems at all. And yeah, the actual setup process, super smooth. The usual thing of having to use open firmware to tell it to boot to the Linux partition and everything else. But that all worked really well, and I have guides on that if you are interested on my channel. So once we were into Linux, I started having a poke about and see what was possible under this environment. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Firefox or Arctic Fox to actually run and stable. As soon as I tried to load a web page, it would crash. So I kind of quickly realized that I wasn't going to be able to do any of the original testing that I was planning to do. I was kind of planning to use this to see if we could actually browse the modern web and everything else. Well, that didn't seem quite possible, at least not without more work. But I was poking about the packages that were available, and I noticed that Java was available. In fact, Java 8 was available, which is a much newer version of Java than you could get under macOS, I believe, for this machine. So yeah, I started to think and started to join things up. And while I wanted to install 16 gigabytes of RAM, I'm actually still waiting for that to arrive in the post. But I want to do that. 16 gigabytes of RAM, that's a lot of dedicated RAM, and Java 8 means that we can run quite modern versions of Minecraft. In fact, all the way up to 1.16.5 if we wanted to. So yeah, I thought, why don't we try and make this a Minecraft server and see how many people we can actually support running an older version, albeit not the most up-to-date version of Minecraft, but a pretty feature-rich full version of the game on really 20-year-old hardware here. So I went about testing different versions of Minecraft. I knew that I wanted to obviously use an optimized version of the server, so I went with PaperMC and kind of went through the different versions that they had that would run under Java 8. And then in the end, after a lot of trial error, I kind of realized that 1.8 is kind of the sweet spot where it's still light enough that it's running pretty well, at least with just me on the server testing. But it's new enough that it's a full-featured game and there's lots of things you can do. It's not like a beta version of Minecraft, which is very, very limited. So that's what we settled on, is 1.8. And I have to say, so far, I've been pretty surprised with the performance. But again, it's just me on the server. So while I do want to upgrade the RAM to 16 gigabytes at the moment, like I say, we've only got 4, and I do want to install an NVMe drive into one of the PCI slots to host the Minecraft files, so storage is as fast as possible and it isn't a bottleneck. Essentially, we want to remove all bottlenecks minus that struggling CPU. So while those plans are still in place, and I'm still going to do that in a future video, I wanted to get this up and running, and it is now up and running. It is online. You can actually head over to minecraft.devwithzachary.com as the server address in your Minecraft instance. And as long as you're running 1.8.8 Java Minecraft, you'll be able to connect and play on the server with other people on this ancient machine. Now, I have limited it to the moment at 10 concurrent players. We may even have to reduce that if that really lags out, but I want to see how far we can go with this. And I really want to see what kind of different builds and stuff can be done within the community on such old hardware. I'm really interested to see what we can actually develop together. So I'm going to be hosting that for a while. I don't know how long that will be. I know that there'll at least be one more video where we do those upgrades. But I will say, you know, it's not the most efficient Minecraft server in the world. It does draw around 200 watts. Pretty much just idling, and that means it's going to cost me like £30 at least a month to run. So it's not something I want to run indefinitely, but I want to see what we can do with it. So I really would love to see some people join. There's no real rules or anything, just don't be a dick. It's the normal kind of thing there. Respect for the players, and yeah, other than that, go forth and explore. This video really, like I said, took quite the the pivot from its original plans. But we do now have a pretty cool Minecraft server set up. And yeah, I really hope some of you will be over there to join me. I'll be on as much as I can be around other commitments, work and everything else, but it is there to be used. Is it going to be stable? No, I'm sure it will be down from time to time, and we may even have to do a world reset every now and then, or wipe things, or I can't imagine it's going to be the most stable of things. But I'd love to see what we can achieve, so please do go check it out. Otherwise, we are going to leave that video here for today. So thank you very much for joining me on this slightly strange process and slightly strange path of taking a 20-year-old Mac and running a Minecraft server, because why not? All right, I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye for now.